about to enter a world of true crime. From cold cases to serial killers, missing persons, and more.
100% he did this.
I'd go off into fantasy world.
How much more lucky can you get that you're not on death row?
You want to know what we know.
My name is Jay. This is Guilty of Crime.
Hello, crime crew. It's Jay with Guilty of Crime. And I'm going half deception detective style. I love wearing shades from all these bright lights. So maybe I have to do a bright light background. So it looks like it's sunny outside. So hello, Jackie, Carly, Jojo for show, Gothic, Brina, Sadie's mama, Christina Kane. Hello. Oh, Davey, one of my favorites. Hey, Davey Jones, I love you. And all of you. Okay, so today we're talking about Sebastian Rogers. We want to keep this in the spotlight, and there's always something to talk about. So I want you to know I'm keeping up on this case. I've been listening to T-Rev today. Sorry, I'm going to turn the AC off. It's loud. I've been listening to T-Rev today, and he's awesome. It's a lot of information to take in all day, listening to people's phone calls. So, yeah, I'm going to break stuff down for you, what they talked about. I'm not going to play his stuff because it's so lengthy. Hello, Kaylee Dean, new subscriber. I love you. Thank you for loving the channel. Okay, so I'm just going to talk about a bunch of Sebastian Rogers stuff today. I got quite a breakdown for you. Lots of evil exists. Lots of just things to tell you about, updates. Keep Sebastian in the spotlight. T-Rev is a good man. He's doing it. He spends all day. I think that's what he does all day. He has call-ins, people just telling stories. Jennifer Coffendorfer is on there today. She's an ex-FBI agent, and they were talking about polygraphs. I'm going to say right now, she has a source, and she said Seth Proudfoot through the source says that, or she says that Seth Rogers blew that up, passed his polygraph test through the grapevine. So let's watch out for that, okay? Let's see if he passed his polygraph. I hope he did. We heard he was falling asleep. Anyway, let's get into some updates, everybody. Hi to everybody. Rita, Say's mama, B. Wilson. All right. Let's start with dispelling some of the untruths. And got a news station, a news reporter. And let me just read this to you real quick. Where is it? Hold on. I don't know why it's not showing everybody, but let me just go back on here and I'll read it to you real quick. Okay. So let's see here. Let me just read that and then we'll go to some other stuff. I'm talking, okay? So Nick Barris, News 5. His update on Sebastian missing person, and he wants to make sure that we only get the news. So hello, everybody. Jesse Duvall. He wants to make sure we get the news and that we get accuracy. So I'm going to read it really quick. It's not long. Nick Barres from Channel News 5 says, I am loath to everyone. I'm loath to even respond to some of these out of control rumors circulating on social media. So let's try to get those out of the way and see what he says. But I really don't mind many of you contacting Mr. Nick from the news station to ask what's going on and what's true. He's always quick to set you guys straight and me. So he wants to say, first of all, he's flooded with people saying that he has been notified by Sebastian, who was found over the weekend. Not true. You guys know by now we're at Wednesday. Secondly, more people messaging to say that they heard a body was pulled up in the river of Mississippi. Untrue. He hasn't been found. Nobody's been found. We're at the same type of situation here that we've been for 60 something days or 70 days. Okay, so he's been in touch with investigators who confirmed nothing new to report on 15-year-old autistic teen who vanished from Hendersonville, Tennessee home nearly 7 weeks ago. Now it's 7 weeks. The hope, of course, is at some point there will be a break in the case, and when that happens, we will hear about it from a credible investigator, a credible source, not from us, what they call psychic or sleuths. No, we're not psychic, but sleuths, psychics, YouTubers. You know, we're as credible as we can be. It does hurt his heart to see so many people following the case and nothing coming out new to say, no updates. So, you know, we all want that as well. But I just wanted to tell you that I'm basically just trying to keep him in the spotlight. I'm giving you the updates that I do have, and there are some updates and some things to think about, right? So Jennifer Coffendorfer said Seth Rogers passed his polygraph. She also is an ex-FBI agent, and she doesn't think that Seth is alive anymore. She doesn't think that he's going to come walking in from somewhere, and neither do I. I hate to say that, guys, but let's start with my, what we'll call my DJing. Somebody said yesterday that when's my show going to start, because I was playing other clips, and I said, that is my show. I'm a DJ of YouTube, guys. All right. So let me play this first. This is talking about Seth calling out the TBI, and he wants them off, and then we'll look at the petition together and go over some other stuff.
We're at the 50-day mark already, with still no sign of missing 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers. He allegedly vanished from his mother's house and has not been seen since. Sebastian left his switch at home, as well as his phone. He left without shoes on, and apparently just a flashlight. This alone, I find hard to believe, but that's what his mother tells us. It's frustrating to see no movement in this case after 50 days, and many of us have little to no faith in TBI after Summerwell's case. What is going on behind the scenes? They can't still be at square one. Anyway, Seth Rogers, Sebastian's biological father, had enough. He was the FBI to take over the case, and rightfully so. I 100% agree with him. He started this petition that many are now sharing to help Seth get more support. He set it up himself, and says, we want the FBI to take over the investigation of the case of missing Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers from Sumner County Sheriff Office. It has been 50 days since Sebastian has gone missing, no scent trail from dogs, no video footage of Sebastian leaving his mother's house. Yet no criminal investigation at all by TBI or Sumner County Sheriff.
So this is Seth being fed up with the investigation. We know that he called the FBI to help. I want to tell you now, after listening to a bunch of stuff today, interviews, and people just examining the crap out of this case, I want you guys to know that when Katie did her interview, I don't know if any of you guys caught it, but they asked where Seth was. She said, I don't know why he walked out of the house. She kept saying that over and over. Instead of saying, I don't know where Sebastian is. Where's Sebastian? Sebastian, where are you? She kept saying, I don't know why he walked out of the house. Now, they're comparing that to losing your keys or something like that. When you lose your keys, you don't say, I don't know why my keys are gone. You say, I don't know where my keys are. That's not the thing. What the thing is that she said when she noticed he was missing, she went and looked in the kitchen. But I can tell you something, that her room runs right through the kitchen to get to his room. So it doesn't make sense that she would go look in the kitchen when she passed right through it. So that's a little weird. And Davy Jones, I hope you're right. Let's keep watching this, and then we'll talk about some things.
Sheriff Office. In my opinion, I think this should be a criminal investigation. What are they waiting for? Sebastian didn't just vanish into thin air. I'm not even convinced that it was him taking out the trash on Sunday night. It could have been someone dressed as him. Nothing will shock me at this point, with the number of inconsistencies we've heard from the Proudfoots. The petition is linked below. I encourage you to please sign it, and stand with Seth. He is the only parent of Sebastian's that is pushing for answers. He is determined to find his son. The petition has over 7,500 signatures already, and keeps growing. Let's share it, and help get the FBI to take over this case completely.
To join the search and get the details we need. Thank you.
Find Sebastian and get the FBI on it. Someone knows something.
These are just
we need
people,
to find out.
just people supporting.
Let's find Sebastian, please.
Sorry, but I don't want to show my face right now. Let's just pray that this young man will be found. Seth, his father, needs a lot of help to find his son.
We agree. Let's see what else. These are just regular people talking. We can have you guys all up here, but I just wanted you to see Ooh, look at that lady.
Dad knows where he's at
Sorry, guys.
and stuff.
I'd rather share you guys. So I just wanted to give you an update on that. And yeah, Jackie, I want to see that while I show this. I want to show the petition. Let's see, where is it? Ooh, that lady looks crazy. Okay, here it is. Let me share that with you. And yesterday I was giving an update on Sebastian during Maddie's during the live for Maddie, and a lot of people said they signed it. So if you signed it, please, say something in the chat. Let us know if you did. Let's take a look at this real quick. So I said how many they had, and this was a couple days ago. Change.org. Just look up Sebastian Wayne Drake. You can look at the link. He's got 12,573 out of 15,000. 2,045 signed today. You guys, my videos have been getting 4,000 to 6,000 views. So if you're on the rewatch crew here, please go to change.org if you haven't and sign this so we can hit 15,000. If you're on the live, please do that. Michelle, I will put the link in the chat. I would do it right now so that it's a little bit long. It's weird that they didn't shorten it up, everybody. So I'll put it in the chat right now. It's weird that they didn't. It's just this long old link I just sent. So I put it in the chat, but you can just do a search, change.org, Sebastian Rogers. And yeah, that was a long link, guys. Okay. We're a supporter. This channel is a supporter of Sebastian. And if I had a call-in line, I'd probably have you guys calling in like T-Rev to give me your theories and talk about Sebastian, things links we could look up, things that we could do. Thank you, Faye. Sign that thing, share it in chat if you could. That would be great. My link was a little bit long. All right, let's go to the next thing. I'm the DJ of YouTube here, so I'm DJing and playing videos. And I have opinions, but, I do play videos on my channel. So let's play some videos and watch them together. Let's watch this TikTok one really quickly. It's a couple days ago, but it's always relevant to get out all the different sources from everywhere so that everybody of different social media can follow it, share it with me. You guys are flooding my email, and I appreciate that with great content. So thank you so much. All right, let's watch this for 56 seconds.
Good morning, everyone. So Nick Bears, a local news reporter who's been helping.
This is what I was talking about.
Rogers missing child's case out of Hendersonville, Tennessee.
Ooh, that's low.
Good morning, everyone. So Nick Bears, a local news reporter who's been helping cover the Sebastian Rogers missing child's case out of Hendersonville, Tennessee, has come out because he spoke to law enforcement and he's debunked a few of the rumors that have been circulating online. He writes, "First, I was flooded with people saying the family has been notified that Sebastian was found this weekend alive. Nope. Second, more people messaging me to say they heard a body was pulled from the river in Mississippi and it's Sebastian's. No connection at this point. I've been in touch with investigators today who confirm nothing new to report on Sebastian Rogers, who vanished from his Hendersonville, Tennessee home nearly 7 weeks ago. Law enforcement seems to still be investigating the case, and they're hoping that there will be a break in the case at some point. In the meantime, let's keep our eye on the prize, finding Sebastian." Of course, I'll keep you guys updated as more information comes out, so make sure to follow. And if you guys have any thoughts or questions,
so if you get a chance, go ahead and follow this guy. I couldn't hear his video too well. It's Matthew Thibault. I don't even know. It's Matt Thibodeau, however you say that. So I'll go ahead and follow him now, everybody. And you guys can do so too. The petition is to get the TBI off and the FBI on, or them working together, everybody. So go ahead and read that. Yes, I heard Seth Rogers hired 2 private investigators today. I don't know who's funding that or what, but maybe we could find out. Somebody could message me. Thank you, Carly, for putting that in the chat. Now, I don't know if you guys have seen this on patrol. On patrol with Katie Proudfoot. She actually did an interview by herself, everybody. Let's watch this together. I had not seen this yet. So if you hadn't seen this, let's watch it together. It's very interesting and different posture and body language from her without Chris being there. Tell me what you think.
Mother with a missing special needs child would be prone to crying. Now, the best part of this video is when we get a glimpse of Sebastian and we get to hear his voice, get a feel for his vibe, see his spirit. So now, without further ado, I'm going to play it for you.
Find a missing Tennessee teenager. During the early morning hours of February 26, 2024, 15-year-old Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers disappeared from his home in Hendersonville, Tennessee. That's about 20 miles north of Nashville. He's not been seen or heard from since. And Sebastian is now the subject of an Amber Alert. Joining us now is Sebastian's mom, Katie Proudfoot. Katie, thanks for...
Let me know in chat if you've seen this. This is very interesting, very different. Her body language, her posture, what she says. They play a video of Sebastian, which I hadn't really seen him interacting, or I couldn't tell how functioning he was or not. So this gives you a good idea. And it gives you an idea of Katie without Chris. She looks dead in all her other interviews. She looks like she's just out of it and she has no emotion. This one, she has a little bit. Watch.
Being with us under what must be very difficult circumstances. First of all, how are you and your family holding up?
I would say that this isn't a tragedy that we would wish anyone to ever experience. We're keeping our faith and we're praying every day that we're going to find Sebastian.
What's the latest on the search?
So law enforcement is exploring any and all possibilities. They're communicating daily with us about updates and the statuses. We have faith that all the law enforcement agencies involved are doing everything that they can, and we're going to find Sebastian and bring him home.
We know the most important thing right now is to get the word out about Sebastian. What would you like our viewers to know about your son?
Sebastian, he is high-functioning autistic. He loves animals. He loves video games. He loves fishing.
You're so goofy.
He's typically a very, very sweet boy. He can be quite temperamental, though, if he's overstimulated or if he's stressed out. He has a unique run. He runs like the Naruto anime character. When he's excited, he likes to dab and he loves music.
It's a weird thing. The things she says are weird, and then she changes to the next thing and kind of like says something negative about him. And I don't know if she's just being real or being negative and she can't help it.
He loves to dance.
That's all very helpful information. Now, if Sebastian is out there watching, what would you like to say to your son?
I would say, Bubba, we love you. We all love you so much. Wherever you are, just know that we are not going to stop. We're going to keep searching. We're going to find you. We're going to bring you home. And if you ever get an opportunity, find a phone, find a safe adult, call 911. But I'd also like to ask our community to please keep searching your properties. Keep sharing his flyer. If you know something or you see something, please say something.
This is the most real interview I've ever seen. I don't know if she's fake crying or what. I see not as much stoic as she's been. It's very interesting. And the way she talks about him and how he acts like a child and how his functionality, it's really weird. It's different.
Call the law enforcement immediately.
We're going to do everything we can to help find him.
Thank you.
I find it odd that she cuts herself off from directly addressing Sebastian pretty quickly, and she then switches over to asking people in the community to look in their sheds, in their barns, look everywhere. Also, she doesn't mention how exactly they can contact the authorities. Now, the program does, but she doesn't. You think she'd be like, please do this, please do that. Here's the number, blah, blah, blah. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they said, well, we're going to share all that so you don't have to. But you think she'd be eager to get it all out there and be sure that she stated it. Now, we also know that Sebastian's father, Seth Rogers, has taken his polygraph, the one that Nancy Grace offered to set up for him. He mentioned on some channel that he didn't have the results yet because the experts hadn't yet graded it. Well, let me tell you guys, I have taken a polygraph, and
all right, she talks about her polygraph. We'll watch this for a second just so you can understand polygraphs. Jennifer Coffindoffer did that earlier, and she talked about that even though it's not used in court, that as an FBI agent, they have to take one once a year. And she truly believes that. She believes in it, and she believes that it can get some of the truth out. And a big truth is if you don't want to actually take one, that's very telling and that's very obvious. But yeah, let's listen to this for a minute. And Davey, 7 weeks in hiding in someone's yard or even playing video games at somebody's house. I just don't believe that. There's no way. All right, let's listen to this for a little bit so you can hear about the polygraph. My mouse is going crazy right now for some reason. All right.
I took it for the FBI. It was quite a few years ago, and it was when I thought I might want to work for them. I'd already passed like a very long written test that I had to fly to Cleveland to take. I'd also been interviewed by multiple agents around a table. At this point, it was just I had to do a trigger pull, and I'm trying to remember what else, but the polygraph was the really big deal. And let me tell you, there was no delay in the grading of my polygraph. I got the results right then and there. And I can say that if you're showing deception or not, you're going to hear about it right then and there, at least with the FBI. So I think although they told Seth they were going to grade it, I think they already knew whether he was telling the truth or lying. And personally, I'm pretty sure he's telling the truth. But I think what they're really doing is they're putting a show together, and they're going to try to maximize the drama and the suspense before they share the actual results. When I had my one and only polygraph, I was sat in a chair, not facing the polygraph expert. He was at a long table, and he was looking at my profile as I was staring down a hallway to a door. I had straps all over me, and I kind of felt trapped in the chair. To be an FBI special agent, at least back then, you could not have smoked pot at least 3 years prior to getting hired. And I hadn't smoked any.
Jennifer Coffindoffer also said that. She said if you take drugs of any capacity, maybe pain pills like Seth, it could mess up the test and it could be negative or the opposite. But we hear he passed it, so let's see what she says a little bit longer. I think this lady has credibility. Bed crime stories.
Pot. I have smoked pot. I sound like President Clinton. I have smoked pot, but I hadn't smoked any pot in 3 years. However, the guy I was dating had, and he'd blown some my way. Again, I sound like President Clinton, but seriously, I had not smoked pot. But when the polygrapher guy asked me and I said no, I hadn't, somehow I believe my guilt for being around this boyfriend of mine and him blowing the smoke my way made me look deceptive. Now, maybe I would have fared better if I would have just fessed up and said, well, I didn't actually smoke it, but I was with someone who did. Maybe my honesty would have been a better way to go instead of me saying, no, I didn't, but knowing in my head he'd blown it my way and I was sort of culpable by being in the room with him. I didn't do it. I swear I didn't do it. But Mr. FBI agent,
she's funny.
He was
all right.
You're such a good candidate, but then you go and blow it with all of this stuff. And all I wanted to do was get unstrapped from all this crap.
All right. So we'll look at him for a second. I want to keep him in our thoughts and him on the forefront so you can see him. I want to also say that Katie is not searching anymore. And it's interesting that she says, come home, Seth. I want you to come home, but she's not at home, everybody. So when people ask, do I believe her? I don't. I think there's a lot of deception, but I just don't know what the deception is or where it's coming from. I don't understand why you would also say my son, I went in my son's room, which you have to pass through the kitchen to get to his room, and say you thought he was in the kitchen. That doesn't make sense. And a lot of other things. I can probably go back and forth in different interviews and tell you what doesn't make sense, and you guys can see it for yourself. I think sometimes it takes a lot of watching different times to see it. Now, also the Summer Wells case, we're gonna see that in a minute. Like I think it's brought up the Summer Wells. Oh man, I think I want to watch that at some point and do Deception Detective style because he does the Summer Wells and it's just striking the similarities. Thank you, Kylie Jackson Bell, for becoming a member. All right, there's some text messages. Evil Exists is fantastic. You know what the worst part about them is? They only have 2-minute clips. So as soon as I get into it, I can't watch it anymore. So because it's gone. All right, so I'm showing you some stuff because he or she has really good content, but it's just quick. So let's listen to the text. Her daughter was in school with Sebastian, and she says this. Get ready, 2 minutes.
Sebastian Rogers is missing for 50 days now, and it's a very concerning case. The Proudfoots have displayed a number of red flags,
Now we know it's more than 50. We're at past 7 weeks. All right, look at the pictures.
And we know that Chris didn't want Sebastian in the home. He asked Seth to take Sebastian, as his marriage was apparently on the rocks with Katie, and he couldn't deal with Sebastian's issues any longer. We also heard that he was trying to get custody of his daughter Faith. How do you send one child away to bring another one into your house? It just makes me so sad for Sebastian. I don't think we even know the full story of what really went down behind closed doors at the Proudfoot home. Sebastian even told his father Seth that he didn't want to go back to his mom's house. However, he gave no reason as to why he didn't want to return. Well, I found these messages on Facebook that really made me sad. These two women were chatting on Facebook, and their messages were posted in the Find Sebastian group. In the first message, the lady says that her daughter went to school with Sebastian, and wanted to know if the other lady, who claims to have seen Sebastian at an earlier time, by some campsite I think, knows whether Sebastian said something about putting him in a trash can or a bag or anything like that. I found this very interesting as to why someone is asking this. I mean, why would Sebastian say such a thing? Did he feel as though he was trash? Is it something someone would do to him if he was badly behaved? The lady replies says that Sebastian wasn't behaving very well at that time, and he threw his racket down on the ground. She then thought he said, "I'm going to take you, because I'm trash." She told him not to say that because she's sure he is a good kid, but she just wants to talk to his parents. She says now looking back in hindsight, he may have said, "I'm going to let you take me to the trash." The other woman replies again says she is asking because Sebastian would go around the school, asking for people to put him in the trash. It is so disturbing to see these text messages, thinking that Ellie searched the landfill earlier in this investigation. Something is not right here. Praying that answers for Sebastian come soon.
Did any of you guys know this?
26-year-old mother.
Stop. I don't know if any of you guys have heard this, but it's interesting to see. I'm going to pull up the interview real quick. It's not very long. And it's not the whole thing. The only time I've been able to find the whole thing, everybody, is when their face isn't showing. So it's the news when Katie and Chris talk, and I want you to look back on it and watch their demeanor again. Watch how still Katie is. Watch how Chris dominates it. I'd like the whole interview. But yeah, if anybody has that, let me know so we can watch it together. Oops, I took it off. My bad. Let's see what they're talking about, and yeah, let's just watch again, see what inconsistencies you find and what you think.
A missing teen in Sumner County described to us exclusively how they feel on day 8 of their son's disappearance. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Marius Pate.
And I'm Lauren Lowry.
Day 8 versus 7 weeks out, however many days that is, it's a difference. Katie's not there anymore. Lots of lies, lots of inconsistencies, lots of untruths, like Mr. DD would say.
Sebastian Rogers is 15. He was last seen by his parents on February 25th in Hendersonville. Sebastian has autism, and he's gone without his medication this whole time. And since then, authorities have searched by air, by foot, and on horseback.
Helicopters, drones, and dive teams have also been brought in to try to find him. Today, his parents spoke exclusively to our Holly Thompson.
She's live tonight in Sumner County. Holly, I imagine.
All right, so this is just the original video, and I don't think it's the whole thing, but it's clips of it. And yeah, it's important to rewatch this stuff.
And it was quite an emotional interview.
Certainly was. It is hard for any of us to imagine the emotions that this family is going through right now. But we know one thing is certain. They remain positive. They are holding on to hope.
Yeah. Okay. Let's watch this.
What you're thinking right now? Can you walk us through what you're thinking right now?
I just want my baby to be okay. I don't know where he's at.
She's crying.
Mom Katie broke down several times in her
Wow.
interview, but says her hope
Interesting.
is strong that her son Sebastian will be found safe and return home.
He's going to walk through that door, and this street will be flooded again with family and relatives all waiting to hug and love him. And
Stepdad Chris says it's been an emotional roller coaster that all started Sunday night, February 25th.
Pretty normal. He was playing in his room. When I told him to go to bed, he did. He said, "Good night, Mom. I love you."
Katie says she went to wake up Sebastian around 6 a.m. Monday for school, and he was gone. Within minutes, Katie says she was on the phone with Chris,
Yes.
who was working out of
Yeah.
town, and they quickly called 911.
And he's not a.
Now, a little bit of this. Does anybody know about Chris and when he was working out of town, like the dates that he was working out of town and when he came back? Because if this was a pre-planned thing, like let's say I don't know why it would be pre-planned, because he was going to go live with his dad. But if it was, if you notice in the interview, he's like, "Oh, I was out of town. I was gone." Like he puts that out there. And not just that someone else mentioned it. He also, he talks a lot about, like, he knows too much. And he also is the one that called the police, but he didn't call 911. He called his connection. Has anybody else noticed that when somebody does kills somebody or commits the murder, if they have a connection to the police or they are a police officer, they don't call 911. They call their detective friend, or they pull their weight there. Has anyone noticed that? He was away for the whole week. Okay, so away for the whole week, but I wonder what that whole week looked like. Did he come right back when he found out he was missing? Was he gone 5 days before, 3 days before? I don't know. I'm trying to nail it down. Let's listen.
Runner. He's never run away before.
I don't know.
I don't know why. I don't know why he walked out that door.
There you go.
I mean, he's a good kid.
That's all she keeps saying.
He's not a mischievous child by any means.
Katie and Chris say Sebastian is not on social media. While he loves to play Minecraft, they tell me he does not have any online capabilities. I asked if there was any reason he might want to leave.
We've been combing over that day and even the weeks before he left, and I hadn't been able to figure it out. He's that morning he was laughing, he was joking.
It's as if Sebastian vanished. No sign of him on any video throughout the community. Thousands of miles logged by law enforcement, canines, helicopters, even dive teams, and no sign of him. Chris and Katie tell me they've been harassed, people pointing fingers at them.
You're not in this situation. You don't quite understand. I wish people would step back, take a different wide open view, and not assume what they know. It's just better to stick to the facts.
Are you both in the clear?
I can tell you that Mom, myself, and the father have worked very fully and cooperatively.
Yeah, he definitely puts himself into it a lot more than he should be if he wasn't there. And he uses people to validate what he's saying quite a bit. And when he says, "Oh, Sebastian's such a good kid," he automatically goes to, he doesn't do bad things. And he starts saying that. Why not just say he's such a good kid? He plays really nicely with others. He likes his video games. Why go to that? Everything about him, if he wasn't there, is really weird. And Davey, I want to say, how do we know that she didn't see him walk out of the door, or she actually doesn't know that he walked up, but we don't know exactly what she does know.
With all agencies across the board, we have anything that they've wanted, we have provided.
What do you want to say to Sebastian? What do you want him to hear from you right now?
That we love you so much and we want you to come home and you're not in trouble.
Now, Katie did tell me that even though Sebastian does have autism, he is a smart teenager. He is highly functional. They say if you see him, Say his name, say Sebastian, and he'll respond. He'll at least acknowledge you. And I can tell you, this is my home. This is my community. And the people here are strong. They say they will continue to search. They will continue to hope and continue to pray for Sebastian's safe return. And by the way, you can watch my full exclusive interview.
All right. Oh, wait.
With
She's
Sebastian's parents on our WSMV4 app. Live here in Hendersonville.
all right. Well, I don't have the app, and I'm sure I can get it, but I don't know how I can get it on my computer. I would like to watch that full interview. I could probably download it. Davy Jones says DD talked about that, insisting on a particular unproven scenario. I agree. The interview that DD did was great. I love all of his stuff, and I love I want to hear, and I love his Summer Wells take on the case. I also found this YouTuber, Harsh Reality, that talks about the new PI, a YouTuber threatened and parents called out. So if you want to watch some of this and listen to me talk about it while we talk and chat, that way I don't have to get going real quick, we can do that. So let's let me subscribe to this guy, and let's listen to what he's saying for a bit.
Well, hello there. How is everyone? I hope you're all well on this marvelous midweek hump. That's it, baby. It's the midweek hump.
We're good.
So 2 of 3. And yeah, that's going to confuse the hell out of people. But anyway, yeah, this is now video 1 of 3.
Good.
I'll get on with it. And we're talking about Sebastian Rogers, as some of you who have been around the channel for...
Now, this is an update, so I think it was like 3 hours ago, and I'm trying to hear the latest information and the latest... just anything that's online that's going on.
Sometime will know what I'm like. I call things as I see it. And sometimes that's not received well. And I'm guessing that this video is going to split the room. And it is what it is. You know, I'm not in this video saying that anyone is guilty of anything. This is solely my opinion. And my opinion doesn't have any standing anywhere.
But your opinion matters, so let's hear it. Let's not talk about it.
I immediately blame the parents because it is a parent's responsibility to keep their children safe. 100%. That's what your job is.
Now, you guys can talk and chat here and see what you're saying. I don't know if he's going against them or going against what we're saying, but it's always good to hear that cross talk. And when people are saying the opposite, Davey in here seems to think that Sebastian's still alive. He has hope, which is great. Lots of people do.
As soon as you have a child, nothing else in your life matters. It doesn't matter. It comes second to your child. And if you don't understand that when you have a child, that child is your responsibility above every fucking thing else.
Yep.
Above everything. All of the things that you used to enjoy are probably now over for a few years until you get the child to an age where they are able to effectively look after themselves. And that's just the way it is. And rarely decent parents.
Right. And we all know this. This is common sense. So, I mean, with Madeline Soto, I blame her mom just on the basis of what he's saying. And then it goes deeper, right? We need to take care of our kids. We understand that. So, yeah, we don't have any proof or anything. We don't have any proof that he even made it home, guys. So let's see what this guy, I'm just checking out what he has to say. It's an update.
You know, or cases where the children have gone missing and seemingly law enforcement have just washed their hands of it. But that's not always the case. Sometimes we just have to be patient as investigations happen in the background.
Yeah.
And they have to dot all their T's, cross all their I's, and eventually we get the answer that we kind of in the back of our minds knows there. We know it. And it's tragic because we see so many cases, nearly 100%. It's not 100%, but it's fucking getting up there that when harm or something happens to a child, it's generally the family that's involved. It's the family that have done something, whether it be purposeful, whether it be neglectful. It's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. And is the Sebastian Rogers case any different? We have several different things happening at the moment. We have Chris Proudfoot, the stepfather. He's now threatening YouTubers. He's threatened our man over at Evil CJ. Poor CJ being threatened because he's saying, oh, I hear that you are looking to come onto our property. Just know that you'll be prosecuted if you do. Now, look, I know that comment will even split the room, because could be argued, what do YouTubers have the right to pry?
No, we have a right to pry, but we don't want to go on the property, but they're not even there. And I think at this point they are hiding, right? I know they're at a campground, but I think we don't know where at this point because they're afraid from what I've heard. And I don't blame Jennifer Soto for being afraid, the Proudfoots for being afraid, and anybody that has done something to their kids.
Because there is...
All right, let's see what else. I want to hear...
Catch them finding him walking away from the home. He just seemingly went back into the house and vanished off the face of the planet.
Nope.
It's an odd one. It's an odd one. And when you pair that, so we've got a guy a young man who we haven't seen leave the property, and now we're seeing people being threatened if they come onto the property, that's a problem. That's a red flag. We also have the Uvalde Foundation for Kids. I'll show you this post here. I showed a little bit about this foundation on...
So I think we're all restless, everybody, for the same reason. Just like Madeline Soto's case, we're not getting any updates from the police department, the TBI. We don't know if the FBI is coming on, and I know that Seth Rogers is getting restless. In the next clip I'm going to play him calling out the parents for not searching themselves. We're going to go back to that so we can see, everything he's doing. And this is a great clip here from Court TV. It just has a lot of information. This guy's cool. I'm playing him for a second, but I feel like, in the 7 minutes, we haven't heard a lot of real tangible information, any theories, just kind of a drawn out, a drawn out thought. And I like to have as much information jam packed into one session that I can. So see what he has to say, but I feel like he's dragging stuff out. But there is a kids
on the live
foundation
last night, but they released a statement saying, "No, we are now 100% convinced that the family of Sebastian Rogers knows far more than has been revealed publicly. We are also now equally convinced that recent developments indicate answers to be revealed soon." And they do keep posting little things that come up. This is the post that I showed last night. The founder, Daniel Chapin: "While this case remains a bit outside of our scope, our general mission, Sebastian captured our attention, for we are also mothers and fathers. We cannot turn a deaf ear." They go on a little bit further here. They are saying, let's scroll up here. They're basically saying that they can't really reveal anything.
Right. Same thing they've been saying.
What happened in Uvalde, Texas? Who was the Uvalde Foundation for Kids? Here we go. Here we go.
Yeah. So I wonder, Davey, if they're lying about the time he went missing, what does that mean? Do you think he went missing right after the roadhouse? Do you think he walked away from the roadhouse? Something happened down the river by the roadhouse. It was later on. It was earlier. What does that mean? So I'm trying to work this out and understand what, what's going on here. There are no updates. Hearing from the interview room, Chris P. There are no updates. At the beginning of the show, I specifically said there are no tangible updates, but there's information that Seth passed his polygraph. There's bits and clips of things we're going back on to kind of figure stuff out for ourselves, common sense and logic. All right, let's listen to this for a minute, and then I'll pull up the clip that's good. We're going to keep it out there. We're going to circulate this. We're going to like, share if you haven't subscribed, but let's get this out there so we can get updates to you.
Are we?
Drawn out.
All of the people, even like this lad's dad has not been included in his plan. Again, that raises red flags to me, because I think, the dad, in my opinion, as far as we've seen, is a genuine person. Some people are throwing a little bit of shade at him, but at the end of the day, we don't know. We don't know fully. We don't really know about the Proudfeet, but I just will call out the behavior that I see. And when there is a child that goes missing, like I say, statistically, it ain't going to end well. And it generally comes back to the family and those closest to that individual.
It's probably not going to end well. I'm not sure what your updates are. I like your content, harsh reality, but what I don't get where we're getting with this. So let's Fast forward a little.
Hopefully, this will still have a happy ending. It could still have a happy ending, and perhaps.
Okay, I subscribe to him. I'm trying to look for any updates and keep the chat going. Keep you guys giving your theories, telling me what you think. You know, Baby has good insight. He definitely uses the same talk that DD does, so you seem to know that language. Let's play this for a little bit. I want to show you this because it's always good information. It shows you what they've done, what they're doing. We can go back and say, oh, wow, really? That happened? Oh, yeah. Or you can come up with your theory. So let's look at this for a second. We know, see, with me, I think they're looking for a body. All right, let me know what you think. When people say he's alive, where is he alive? And why are they looking at landfills, guys?
All of Sebastian's parents have cooperated. His mother, Katie Proudfoot, his stepfather, Chris Proudfoot, and his dad, Seth Rogers. They also say there's no sign of foul play. But people don't just vanish. Tonight, we speak live with Sebastian's dad. What does he know? What does he suspect? Then we'll also listen to what Sebastian's mom and stepdad have said. Does it all make sense? Tonight, as investigators continue their search, we continue our investigation into the mysterious.
And it's always good to hear this again and watch like somebody like Vinny. He's a real pit bull, right? What he says definitely makes sense and makes you think. All right, let's listen to some of this.
Now, I can tell you where Dad is. Dad's going to be here. He's going to be here live on this program. And we'll get a lot of information from Seth Rogers when he joins us in just a moment. But I want you to listen one more time to the chief deputy from the Sumner County Sheriff's Office, again, describing the status of this investigation, this search for a missing child.
Nothing's really moved forward, guys. This is all we've heard, and we haven't heard anything new. This is all us web sleuths digging in and finding stuff out. So that's why we're sitting there restless.
There is no evidence to support foul play is involved in the disappearance of Sebastian.
But at this point, you don't rule it out?
We're not ruling anything out.
Not ruling anything out. Why? Because they don't know what happened here.
Well,
they don't know. I want to bring in our special guest right off the top, Sebastian's dad, Seth Rogers, joining us tonight from Clarksville, Tennessee. Seth, thank you so much for joining us. I know this isn't easy.
And you guys all know he's done like handfuls of interviews. I don't even know how many at this point, but he is not stopping, which is so different than Katie and Chris. Or I should say Katie. Katie is the problem. Chris is a stepdad. I don't know that he really... And I'm not saying stepdads are bad, but I don't think that when you see his emotional perspective, there is no emotional perspective. It's like he doesn't care. Okay, let's move forward.
Easy. A lot of people are asking you for your time, so we do appreciate it. How are you doing? How are you holding up?
Yes. Sub to Vinny.
Your feed.
Just looking for my son.
Your feed just froze up for a second. I'm so sorry, Seth. So we didn't hear. How are you holding up tonight?
I'm just looking for my son. There is no holding up. It's just moving forward. Move forward to the next location. Move forward to the next. Anything that I get, any type of lead, any type of anything. I mean, it's just every day holding on to hope.
What are your thoughts about the investigation and the status of the law enforcement investigation into the search for your son, where they're not ruling anything out, no evidence of foul play?
Now, after this, I have a clip that talks about what it would take for Sebastian's case to become criminal. So it might be right on the edge, everybody, of becoming criminal. But right now, they're just not saying it. So if we think that it's going one way, we have no idea which way it's going. It's like the Madeline Soto case. Nothing's happened.
You think that they have found anything so far in more than a month?
I'm not part of the investigation, and they don't have to let me know anything.
Exactly.
Which they don't let me know anything.
There you go.
Fair enough. not letting you know anything is one part. The other part is you're his dad, right? So has that communication been enough to have you feel like, okay, I know and I trust that they're working this thing?
No.
I'm in law enforcement myself, so I've got to trust the procedure. I got to trust that if everything is followed by the procedure.
But remember, by now, he's not trusting their procedure, and he's got a petition. Please sign it, change.org, so the FBI can get on this thing too. The more resources, the better.
And everybody's doing what they're supposed to do, that there will be a positive outcome, and my son will be found. I don't understand. They haven't came up with anything. Why they're not asking for higher powers to help.
You are now. Sign the petition, guys.
From where, I want to go back to when you first found out. And then this part isn't clear in my head. Where were you when you found out that Sebastian was missing? And who called you? What was that conversation like? And then sort of what happened next there?
Made it out to the parking garage. When I got in my vehicle, I saw I had a missed call and a text message. Christopher Proudfoot. Text message was a 911, so I called immediately. And he's the one that told me that Sebastian was missing.
And how much detail did he give you about what happened? And how would you describe that moment, that call?
Wasn't much detail except for Sebastian, he said Katie woke up, Sebastian's missing. So I left the parking garage and headed straight to her house.
And
another thing to notice about a genuine parent that's talking is he's not, number one, interjecting himself in the case. Number two, he's not filling in blanks that the other parents are. He's just not doing that. And he's just saying, I just want to get Sebastian home. He's not saying anything about his son. He doesn't say anything about Sebastian until he gets fed up. And then he starts telling secrets, guys. And you guys should all know about that. So the petition I'll put in the chat.
How far are you from the house?
About 45 minutes from downtown correction center to their house in Henderson, Sumner County.
Okay, so now you respond. You're on that 45-minute ride there. Are you talking to anyone, or are you just pedal to the metal trying to get there?
No, I'm trying not to get a speeding ticket.
I get that, but I mean, are you just focused on getting there, or are you calling his mom to get more details?
No, I'm just focusing on traffic to get there as fast as possible.
So now when you got there, what happened at that moment? Like, did you have a conversation with his mom? And did you try to find out, like, well, what the situation was here?
When I got there, there was already law enforcement presence there. So I walked in and just started listening to what was going on. I wanted to hear what was going on. So I got to hear her telling law enforcement asking questions, me listening to the questions and listening to the responses from his mother.
And what did you form any opinion based upon what you were hearing?
Knew my son was missing. And I started watching body language, listening to words coming out. Did I form an opinion? Yeah, I formed an opinion. I am only human.
We all have, sir. Let's see a little bit farther in. I want to keep showing pictures of him. I want to show them doing searches. I want to show them important information. I want to play this again, definitely. I keep looking for these and I keep wanting to watch them because every time I pick up on something else, and I want to see what it's going to take to escalate this to a criminal case, since I think 70% of us think it is.
I want to play for you Katie, who spoke on YouTube to the Chronicles of Olivia, describing that morning and the night before. And
now we watch this better, but it's boosted up now on Court TV, so we can hear it even better.
I want to get your reaction to what she says happened in the house and where they were. Let's watch.
We went and picked up our niece Yeah, I got a call and asked if I could go and pick her up, and I did. And so we went to that. We went to BJ's. Had a good time there. He ate a colossal popcorn. Came home, put groceries away because we got snacks because, you know, he's 15 and snacks. We went to the bowling alley. And then from there, we went to dinner. Came home. He took out the trash because that's his chore. He takes the can to the end of the driveway. About 9 o'clock. Told him to go to bed.
Very canned question. She just duh. All right, I'll let you listen, but I just have to put my 2 cents in on the story. It sounds like it's rehearsed, and she's just said it over and over.
He just come out of his room where he was playing, and he said, "All right, good night, Mama. Good night, puppies. Love you." And went to bed. He was doing something in his room because about an hour later I heard some noise, and I was like, "I don't care what you're doing in there, but go to sleep." And about midnight, I got up and I went to bed. And 6 o'clock, I went to wake him up for school Monday morning, and that's when he went here.
Seth, you know Katie better than all of us, obviously. You well. Is there anything in that story that doesn't make sense to you?
The inconsistencies, from what I've heard before, none of it makes sense. Things aren't, you know.
He knows best.
I'm not here to sling mud, but why is she asking Chris to verify what she did on Sunday when Chris wasn't
even
here
though
on Sunday?
That is such.
Or the fact that she said that she heard a thump on another interview and didn't bother to check on our son. You know, there's a difference between some noise or a thump. I mean, just the information that I received from watching any of their podcasts don't make sense.
Thank you.
Seth, please stay with us. I have a few more questions, and I want to make sure everyone, why we're doing this is because there is a boy who is missing. Here's a dad who needs your help, and Sebastian needs your help. So Seth is going to stay with us. We've got more with him, plus coming up in the next hour.
Thank you, Vinny. Let's listen to him. We don't want to hear that. Chud Daybell is extremely boring.
When was that about?
About 6:30.
And do you know everyone who was there at Roadhouse with Sebastian?
All I saw was as they left the building and got into Katie's car, it was just her and Sebastian.
And anything unusual about the video?
Not that I could observe from what little I saw.
And when they went to dinner and out that day, I think Katie's described being with other family members. Have any of them spoken to you? Have any of them joined in the searches?
No.
No?
No.
How about the immediate neighborhood? Have all the homes been searched? Have the people in that immediate neighborhood all been cooperative?
From my understanding, a lot of them have cooperated with law enforcement, and that they've given up their video cameras footage to Sumner County sheriffs, and they've been pretty much cooperative with law enforcement.
How about
me personally? I haven't been in that neighborhood since the Wednesday afterwards. I've been around there. I've been to the Beach High School, but as for going into that neighborhood, no. I've been next door to the construction area. I researched that. I searched it on the Tuesday after he left, and then I've been there a couple times to research it. I've been to Beach High School. Been over to the fire station when they had the EMA mobile command center there.
Do you think it's possible that he would, because you know your son, that he would leave in the middle of the night, potentially barefoot, maybe with a flashlight?
It doesn't seem like my son at all.
Does anyone else think that?
He would never leave my house in the middle of the night barefoot. And if he did, he wouldn't. He wouldn't. You know, we've left in the middle of the night. There's been times that we've gone fishing in the middle of the night. You know, we plan that sort of stuff. But him walking out the door in the middle of the night, no. It's not something he would do. It's something he's never done on me.
Now, I think if he did it in the middle of the night, everybody, it's because something happened. If that actually happened and he walked out, it's because they got into a fight. When I say they, his mom and him, because the stepdad wasn't there, right? So why else would a kid walk out of the house in the middle of the night? Now, she said she heard a thud at 10 p.m. So was that thud from the fight they were having? What was that? And you didn't go check on your son that's not functioning the way you'd like him to? Very weird. But Seth keeps it real. He's 100% on point.
Is there any chance, and I know there were rules in place, but is there any chance that he could have been lured by someone either from school or somewhere else to like, hey, you know, we're doing something at night or we're going somewhere or we're going to meet up? Is that, you think that's in the realm of possibilities?
I find that highly unlikely because my son doesn't really have a concept of days or or time in order to plan something like that.
What do you mean? Could you explain that?
Well, trying to get him to wear a watch is already hard enough.
So this gives us a good idea of Seth's functionality. I don't understand it. I really don't understand it. Seth says one thing, he's pretty real, but the parents make it seem like he's, you know, could have just fell out the door and wandered off and just been like, not even, you know, knowing what was going on. So it's really weird to hear two different perspectives, and he puts it into perspective a lot more. So remember, keeping the case out there, we're keeping it live, we're keeping this missing boy out there. There's no new updates, everybody. So I'm not trying to make up updates or come up with conspiracy theories. I just want to put out there what we know and then think about it some.
You know, I've had him set timers on his phone so that he remembers that, hey, it's 7 o'clock at night, I need to take my medicine. I mean, he doesn't really have a concept of time except for, you know, he's got to, when he gets woken up in the morning at his mom's, normally around 6 o'clock, he's got an hour to get up, get ready, eat his food, and be out there to catch the bus between 7:10 and 7:20. Then he goes to school. He gets out of school at 3 o'clock, and I normally call him about 3:30. But when he's here and it's a weekend or something, you know, there's no time.
Now I'm interrupting because, again, we're just talking about what we already know, maybe what we don't know. So I'm reading your comments. I'm trying to answer them and talk. Maria says, I never heard of someone calling the sheriff's office instead of 911. Why would Chris do that on a three-way? Very odd. Now, I agree. A lot of people do that have connections to the sheriff's office, or they're a cop. They call their buddies to come and check on the crime, or maybe not a crime, whatever it was. Now, that is very weird. And maybe Katie called him and was panicking. I would assume that the cops would have their phone records by now, though, everybody. I think they have everything, or unless they just didn't do a good job. I don't know. Let's listen to him a little bit more. Just put your comments in there.
You know, telling him at noon we're going to head out and go fishing, and I'll sit there and watch. And he's all interested in going fishing. I'll sit there, and then he'll walk up to me. It's like 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. He's like, I thought we were going fishing this morning. And he was like, well, what time is it? And he'll run into the kitchen and look and be like, it's 2 o'clock. And it's like, oh, well, I thought we were going to do that this morning. And you needed to let me know when that was your thing. That's what I talked to you about. You know, let's get everything ready at 11 o'clock so we can go fishing.
That puts a good perspective. My daughter's 9 and she does that too. She says she like the morning morphs into the lunchtime, into the afternoon. And I'm like, honey, you should have told me earlier. But if he's 15, it gives you a good idea that he doesn't have a concept of time. Most 15-year-olds would. You know, if they're going to go on a date, they know exactly what time they're going on that date.
And you've been playing with your toys. You know, playing on your video game, watching TV with me. he was like, well, I didn't realize what time it was. And it's like, okay, well, we were supposed to do that this morning. Let's go ahead and get it done now. He didn't really have a concept at the time.
I want to take.
That's one of the reasons I wear a watch.
I want to take another listen to Katie and Chris from the Chronicles of Olivia here, talking more about Sebastian and get your reaction.
Sebastian hasn't been on his medication in 20 days. So he is rambunctious. He's going to be hungry. He turns into a bottomless pit. I mean, he's your teenage boy, always hungry. On the spectrum, yes. But not one autistic child in this world is like another one. What we can tell you is he's smart. He can be goofy. He kind of has issues with personal space. He hasn't mastered.
He can be
up in your face kind of kid.
he can be aggressive if he's upset.
Yeah, he's emotional. He's a
Maybe I just don't like these parents. What is it, everybody? I mean, I just don't like how they're answering. I don't like his smugness. I don't like her not looking at the camera and looking down, no emotion right now. I just don't like it. Why is she even doing an interview if she's not going to say, Sebastian, if you're out there, come home. If somebody has him and he's okay, come home, or anything. Like, look at her looking down. And why is he interjecting himself when he wasn't there?
He doesn't like punch and hit and throw, but he gets really like aggressive stance or like clipped where he just won't talk to you, or if he's really upset, he like growls.
Seth, what are your thoughts about what you just saw?
What?
They're describing my son when he was like 4 or 5.
He's different now.
Yeah.
He's 15 now. Of course he is.
Can you give us your routine now? I mean, I just get a sense that you're not sleeping much, that you are out searching, you're organizing, you're getting the word out. What is each day like for you? And what are your thoughts about where his mom is, Katie, which is not in town anymore?
Chris and Katie Proudfoot are they're adults. They're responsible for themselves. I'm Seth Rogers. I'm looking for my son, Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers.
That's all he cares about.
I'm his dad. He's missing. I have to find him. It doesn't look like they're doing it, so I'll do it on my own if I have to. I'll ask for people to come help. If they don't, then I'll do it myself. I've always been like that. You can't rely on people. Luckily enough, I'm finding people that I can rely on currently to help me find my son, and I appreciate everybody that is showing up. We've gotten people that have showed up from Ohio. We've gotten people that showed up from Missouri. We've got people that have come in from Florida. Everybody, we got people in the community that are showing up. They're upset and they're mad at how Chris and Katie are behaving in this. But they're human. I mean, none of us are without fault. Just, I would think that parents would and should act different.
Seth, thank you.
I'm going to find him.
And I agree with the parents should be acting different, everybody. Melly, I have a problem with the hidden room or them hiding him. I don't know why, and I could be wrong, because if you look at some of the cases, like the Gone Girl case, right? It's the real one where the lady goes and acts like she's dead and she hides herself. That happens sometimes, but I have a problem with somebody hiding out. You'll still be charged for that if you did something like that. So I have a problem that I don't think the parents did that. I don't think that they're smart enough to even do that. And if they did, then they should still be charged. I don't understand that, and I don't think so.
I hear it in your voice. I see it in your eyes. Our thoughts, our prayers are with you and Sebastian. Obviously, we're going to keep his picture on the screen as much as we can, night after night. Thank you so much, Seth. good luck in the search, and please try to make sure you're taking. I know you don't worry about yourself, but please take care of yourself too, as well, Seth.
Oh well, I'll be around here long after.
A little bit forward. See what. Let's watch this some more.
The mother and stepfather of Sebastian Rogers, a 15-year-old who vanished from Hendersonville, Tennessee on February 26, 2024. He vanished and hasn't been seen since.
Although he doesn't like to be dirty, it's kind of funny because he also doesn't have awareness. Because if you look, he's got chocolate milk on his face because he didn't wipe it off at breakfast.
And joining me right now, the TikToker behind Chronicles of Olivia Vitale. Olivia, thank you so much.
All right, so we're not going to watch that. We love you. Thank you for that. What I do want to play is what it would take for somebody to be charged. How close are we on to catching or finding him? And if we don't find him, how close are we to look at the parents actually for a criminal case? I don't know. Let's see what he says.
They will not rule out foul play, but they will not say that there is a criminal investigation into the Sebastian Rogers case. Why not? Well, I talked to District Attorney Ray Whitley about what it might take to perhaps make an arrest. Sebastian disappeared from his Hendersonville home more than 6 weeks ago. Since then, professionals and volunteers searching for the 15-year-old have found nothing, no trace. Have you found evidence of Sebastian yourself when you've been out there?
No.
So how does a teen with autism walking from a home barefoot in the middle of the night just with a flashlight disappear? Experts say children rarely simply vanish completely on their own. Could others be involved in Sebastian's case?
We have not cleared anyone, but we have absolutely no evidence to support foul play.
Though they certainly do have theories. So what would it take to call this now a criminal investigation? General Whitley tells me there has to be something, physical evidence, blood, Sebastian's clothing, a flashlight, or security video, or an eyewitness implicating someone. But at this point, the simple fact is there's nothing. But that's not to say that can't change. And General Whitley says he stays in contact with authorities, ready to prosecute if it does. Sumner County EMA Director Ken Widener says his crews are on call 24/7, ready to go when investigators contact them with new leads on potential evidence.
And anytime the sheriff's office indicates or TBI indicates where you've got an area of interest that we need to search, we're ready to go.
You can see the sophisticated mapping system showing the ground they've covered. Sadly, to date, no confirmed sightings and no indication whatsoever of what happened to Sebastian. Authorities still assume that Sebastian is alive and that he will be found safe. If that's not the case, then his body must be found. Without it or any other physical evidence, we may never know what happened to the teen. Nick Barris, News Channel 5.
Okay, so that's Nick Barris, everybody. Nick Barris is whose statement I read earlier. And we have 111, which is an angel number to me. We have 111 people in the chat. Hit that like button, everybody. You know, I'm going to go further. It's not even 5:30 yet. I want to keep this case out there. So let's talk about some of your questions or comments. And then I want to play some of the Jennifer Coffendorfer T-Rev. Hopefully it gets back to T-Rev that I played his channel on mine. I'd like to do some T-Rev style at some point. It's really cool, and I like to interact with you guys. So yeah, come on, Katie. Please tell Seth where his son is. God will forgive you, dear, and more. You know, this is just, you heard what Chris Barris just said, and it's true. It's true. They haven't, everyone in here in the chat saying, do this, get the phones, look at the black boxes, spray luminol. Have the cops, the police, the TBI, have they done that? Everybody? I don't understand if they've done that, because like he said, they would arrest you if that happened. Somebody would be arrested. So I don't understand if they did do their due diligence and they didn't find anything then why are we on Chris and Katie's back? I don't know. Sherry McConnell says, no, it doesn't, Jay. I don't even think he made it home. Yeah, that's such a good theory. If he didn't make it home, they're pretty bold, everybody, to give that story and be on the phone for 3 hours. Like, why didn't she call it in sooner? You think the time frame would have narrowed in? I don't know, but I think you could be right that he didn't make it back after that. We love T-Rev too. He gives good information, and it's like a long episode. He goes and talks to colors. They talk about personal stuff. Yeah, they haven't Gothic Brina. They haven't blocked the house off, and I haven't seen them do a search. Not to say that they haven't done that, but it just doesn't seem like they have. It doesn't seem like they're looking down the parents' back. It doesn't. Otherwise they wouldn't be doing all those interviews, right? Net's World. Do you think Ellie won't tell Seth anything because Chris and Katie are implicated somehow? They should say a little something. Yeah, they're definitely not going to say anything. They don't want to mess up the investigation. And they don't want Seth going and, well, killing those people. I think he's past the point where he would just go do something stupid, everybody. So, yeah, let's look at this for a minute. Let's see. I was talking about Jennifer, and I just want to play some of this. You guys can go over there after. He has really long lives. I'm pretty sure that's what he just does all day, right? But Jennifer's awesome. Let me see. This live just ended because I was looking at it earlier.
The mom failed the polygraph on the question.
Okay, this is not. Don't think
I'll
Katie.
never forget it.
This lady's heated. That was change.org, everybody. That was the change.org that you saw.
Oh,
right.
well, you know, my biggest situation is with this case that I had a case almost very identical.
Again, Jennifer Coffenduffer, a former FBI agent. I don't know where her name is on there, but I was really excited. It says up here, ex-FBI agent, but it doesn't say her name. So, but that is Jennifer Coffenduffer. So let's listen for a little bit.
To it. That was my last case. And for that reason, I'm very hesitant to make any declarations or assertions against the parents. I literally had a case so much similar. In fact, the case I had was even worse. You had a dilapidated home. Literally, it was like a litter box. It was just cats living in there, no beds, 2 mattresses, feces everywhere, rats everywhere, deplorable conditions. You know, probably the people in your audience and most people that are in a, you know, it doesn't matter your economic, right? Because even if you don't have money, you could still be clean. So it has nothing to do really with money. But this situation was deplorable.
So she's talking about, I think she's just bringing her credibility to a case and relating it to Seth. Let's listen to, it's really long, so I'm not going to listen to all of it, but I just kind of want to hear what she says about the Seth Rogers case.
Or something that would solidify him being there that night.
There you go.
Possible.
This.
See, I think T-Rev also thinks he didn't make it home. I've been listening to him all day and in the background, so I think a lot of the viewers don't think he made it home either.
This one is just, it boggles my mind because again, how far could he have gotten? And when it comes to this case, what do you think about? Because Seth caught some slack. I was talking to Seth, off the record, and he caught some slack. He was live talking about some different things in the case, but during the live, somebody brought up, was the clothes that he wore that night accounted for? And he messaged TBI and asked them, and they got he said they got peed off with them, like super mad. So why would they get mad about him asking about those clothes?
Well, were they really mad? I would have to hear that conversation between TBI and Seth to really establish whether they were mad. I mean, I have to tell you that as a case agent, and then you want to be very attentive to the victim families.
Mm-hmm.
And fortunately, in the FBI, we have a whole section of people that do that. They're called victim witness coordinators. So fortunately,
yeah, I do want to say, I don't know what just happened to my screen, but yeah, I'm not saying the law enforcement didn't do their job. I'm just saying if they did their job and they didn't find the parents culpable, then what happened?
Agents never get pulled from their investigative duties. because they have witnessed.
Sorry, guys. Sorry, guys. My computer just kind of glitched out. Really weird. All right.
Between myself and those particular principals, right? Principals not meaning subjects, not meaning persons of interest, but principal characters within the life of the person missing. So you never know what the circumstances were when that person called that TBI agent. So I don't know if they really got angry or that was Seth's interpretation.
Now, another thing, you don't find it weird that he would say that he took a lie detector test on Nancy and then would agree to taking the lie detector test, but after that, he, even way before then, somebody asked on Facebook, did you and Katie take a lie detector test? And he said, yeah. This was way before Nancy.
I know exactly when you're talking about. And I saw that. So
I like how Jennifer comes in and brings the real side, so we can sit there and speculate and say, why didn't they do this? Why didn't they do that? But as an ex-FBI agent, she's saying, like, this is what the police have to do, and this is the procedures they have to follow. Yeah, I know my screen froze. I had to reload and get back on, everybody. Sorry about that. All right, stop watching other biased YouTube channel. I respect the actual facts, everybody. So, Spivvy, yeah, I hear ya. I respect the facts, period. We all respect the facts, and we're trying to keep the case alive. We're not coming up with conspiracy theories, Spivvy, so just so you know, we're doing our due diligence here. And I'm not listening to conspiracy theories. That's why Jennifer is so great.
These people, meaning the Proudfoots and Seth, as you guys can see, they're not professional spokespeople. They have likely never been in front of a camera, never had a hail firestorm of questions. I noticed that a lot of times Seth and, or not Seth, sorry, Chris and Katie, they kind of answer for each other. It's really odd, but they do. In other words, it's more like a we've taken the test and we've done this and we've done that. But how I think he meant it, and I'm not trying to make excuses, because you can slice and dice words of even professional people who do this professionally. I made a huge mistake in the John O'Keefe case because I said a tail light was intact. I meant intact from the bump that it suffered. It wasn't, it was still intact to the point it was already broken, right? But then there was another bump. I know I don't want to digress too much, but my point is a person can mean one thing and say another. I'll give you another short example. A friend of mine reached out and said, I'm homesick. And I'm like, well, are you home and you're sick, or are you missing your home? So a lot of times inferences and people say things, and I know T-Rev, as much as you're on, as much as I'm on, we're going to make syntactical errors and errors that, like, we mean this, but we said that, but we didn't mean it like that.
I do it.
We all do it. And then we say, this is what I meant. And so I think there's a lot of that went on with Chris and Katie and with Seth, all three of them. You know, when you dissect, if you're going to sit there and look at every word, there's a lot of problems, but a lot of people don't want to give them any grace at all. If I saw anything that was glaring, like, in other words, what does that really matter about the lie detector test? I think what he meant was, I said I'd take a lie detector test. I submitted to a lie detector test. I sort of think that was his message, but he certainly didn't answer it that way.
Yeah, that's the part that's weird. And then another thing was, like, he made a comment about this concrete, right? Did you see that?
I didn't.
Comment, it was super. It's weird because, like, somebody was talking about
Yeah, so much good information here, and it's good to hear people talking about the case, keeping it out there, getting a perspective. I mean, this is amazing. I wish we could have Jennifer on here, and I think we could do that. Once we get out there, hit the like, hit the subscribe. Let's get in the algorithm so we can do that. Yeah, watch a lot. You do have to watch a lot to get info, and you got to look at both sides and put your opinion in there. Your opinion matters. My opinion matters. Vivi's opinion matters. But don't say your opinion's the only one. So that's awesome. You left a message for T-Rev. Very informative. I agree. Let's listen to a little more. We're coming up to an hour and 30 minutes. I did what I promised to keep it out there. Everybody wanted Sebastian and not to let it go. And that's what I'm doing.
Sebastian possibly being in this concrete by the construction. And then he went the extra, in my opinion, he went the extra mile to explain what you would need, how much concrete, and what you would need to put a body in concrete.
That's weird. But is it what we call in as an agent a spontaneous utterance? And that's when you flip a switch with somebody and they make a comment about something that's familiar with them. So that I see as something he just said off the top of his head. Did he say it off the top of his head because he did something like that? Or is it because he's in the construction business, which we all know he is, and it led him to saying something like that? Agree weird, but don't agree that means he murdered his kid and buried him.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think the police would have found that. I
look at it like this too, Jennifer. When I'm looking at the case, I do assess that he went on Nancy Grace and literally said, I didn't need to take one because of my whereabouts and they could see me. So basically, if he was lying on national television, police would have been right up on him. Oh, well, you said this to us. Or am I wrong? Not necessarily.
You're right. You're right. You're right. In other words,
and I can stop this and say, they didn't, not that I know of, did they release Tyler's interview anymore? So yeah, I'm keeping on top of that for Maddie. I'm keeping on top of that for Sebastian. Davey says that's weird. Did any of us know where he said that? No, I don't. And thank you, Diana, I don't know, Davey. We're trying to keep it in the chat. A lot of people are answering, and Diana, thank you for signing the petition. Sorry, not this kid lady. All right, let's listen a little bit more, and then you could go to T-Rev's channel and watch him. It's like a free plug. I plug him. Hopefully he plugs me. It's a community.
But I don't agree with law enforcement in this vein. Just because somebody is gone and out of the picture in terms of proximity and they themselves can't commit a crime, they have crimes committed all the time.
Right.
I mean, I think we've also seen that with the 2 missing Kansas women. I mean, the husband's in rehab and wasn't out, but what role did he have in possibly conspiring, right? So we don't know yet. He hasn't been arrested or anything, but my point is all of them should have taken a lie detector test. That's my opinion. I would have polygraphed them all. And I think they all have been now, but I would have polygraphed them all early on. Just get that out of the way.
Agreed.
And is the 241 miles away from the house that he allegedly left weird to you, them leaving, or is that just?
All right, we'll listen to this last question, everybody, and see if we think it's weird what she says. We're using our perspective, but she's an ex-FBI agent. So we'll listen to her, and then it's about that time.
I mean, everybody deals with stuff differently, but you got one that's out there searching, and you got vigils going on. Nobody sees them at these vigils. Is that weird to you? Or is it something that you've seen before? Is it a privacy thing?
Truth, out of everything the Proudfoots have done and said, the biggest one I take issue with is the fact they left their home where that person could return to. An autistic young boy. Oh, well, I call him a young boy. He's 15, a young teen. That bothers me because what parent leaves the location where that child considered home?
Absolutely.
That is probably the biggest thing that bothers me.
Yep.
But I try to take into account a couple of things. First of all, not everyone acts alike. We want everybody to act like a cookie cutter. Everybody does this. Everybody cries. Everybody acts this way. And that is just the furthest thing from reality. I've seen people giddy when they have somebody missing or even somebody die. It's the weirdest thing. Some people have a lot of faith and they think they're in a better place. Some people are emotionalists. So I've seen the gamut on how people will react to tragedy involving their kid. So I try to look at it that way.
You know, Spivvy, I wasn't on this. I'm a new YouTuber. I've only been here for, let's say, 3 months tops. So my community asked me to cover Sebastian, and we're doing that together day by day, piece by piece. We can certainly look at law enforcement interviews within the first 2 weeks. I don't think law enforcement is lacking. I'm not saying that. I don't know enough about it, but what I'm saying is nobody's been charged with the crime and they're not looking at a crime. So for everybody that's on the other side of, you know, whatever, wherever Spivvy's coming from, yeah, we're on both sides. But I have my opinion.
The other thing is we know they were getting threats. I totally believe that. I don't think that's a lie because I see what people say online every day. And people are ruthless behind that keyboard. And if they disagree with you,
yes,
they let you have it. They're threatening. They call you every name in the book. And the Proudfoots likely aren't really used to that. Nobody likes it, and they're probably not used to it and didn't like it and were concerned. Also, there was this work, right? He needed to go to work. She probably did not want to be there alone.
Yeah.
And practical matter, he has to make a freaking living. You know, in the midst of all of this, you still have to support yourself unless you're just going to do a GoFundMe and hope by the.
And then we don't even know if a GoFundMe is going to the right place. Hence, Madeline Soto, Jennifer Soto, and their family, what they did. So, everybody, if you want to finish watching this, go to T-Rev. You can sort through it. He's amazing. He's on there like all day long doing that. He gets me through work, everybody. I got to get through work somehow so I could fund myself to be able to be here and be here with you guys. I love the crime crew. I love every single one of you. I think I've been taking questions throughout, and it's been, I love you guys. You guys are amazing. Let me put this back on so we can see your questions. No one just goes missing. I think that's the whole idea here of this whole entire show today is nobody just goes missing. So think about that and why we're keeping it in the spotlight, because nobody just goes missing. Nobody vanishes. Nobody dog scents don't just not show up. It just doesn't happen like that. Melly Michelle, but threats aren't enough to keep me from searching for my child. I agree, or going to vigil, or causing me to leave my home. And I agree with you. I don't think there would have been threats like that or people that were like super pissed off if they would have had shown a different side and have been out at the searches. There's plenty of cops there that would not let that happen. And I think we would look at them differently, right? But maybe they're just doing something different than we would do. I don't know, everybody. Let's just show support for Sebastian. He's still missing. We're past 7 weeks. Let's keep it out there. Like it. Go to T-Reb's channel. Go to Vinnie Politan's. Like, share, subscribe. It's an hour and 33 minutes. And guess what? I love you all. Have a good night. And I'll talk to you soon.
You are about to enter a world of true crime. From cold cases to serial killers, missing persons, and more.
100% he did this.
I'd go off in the fantasy world.
How much more lucky can you get that you're not on death row?
You want to know what we know.
My name is Jay.